Marine Drive and morning walkers, and I have two very special guests with me. Varun Singh ji, he's a journalist, a big talking voice on the BMC elections as well. He's been all over the media, and of course Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, the founder of Vote 5, is also with us, and he has been putting out lots of reports about the BMC elections. Amitabh ji, first to you, what is your prediction of BMC election? Do you think the BJP has a pole position in these elections?
Yeah, of course, if you go by the Vidhan Sabha results and if you just go by the plain arithmetic that the Shiv Sena, which won 84 seats, is now divided into two blocks. Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde and Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray. So that shows that the BJP, at least on paper, arithmetically, has an edge. But we've seen elections could go anyways. We have to see whether the BJP still holds sway over the female voters, because in 2024, the female voters voted in large numbers because of the Ladli Bahin scheme. Then you have a peculiarity here, as in the Marathis and the non-Marathis largely are equal population, almost 40-40 sort of, and 20% is the Muslim population. So whichever party gets two blocks normally has an edge. And then of course this is urban apathy, so there is this socio-economic class differentiation which can be loosely based on the residential status. People living in societies, housing societies, and then people living in slums. For housing societies, the 4-year gap of the elections has somewhat made the corporators irrelevant for a lot of people. Because in our surveys, 60% of the voters have never gone to the corporator for any work, and 40% do not even know the name of the corporator. So for this segment, the presidential style, which is largely focusing on Hindutva or infrastructure or statewide national issues, so they will, I think, largely be voting on personalities, which is Devendra versus the Thackeray brothers. People living in slums, because they on a daily basis face gutter, water, meter issues, and largely in contact with the corporator. There is where I think the local issues largely matter.
Marathi Manoos voted in a big measure for the NDA when it came to the assembly elections. But the BMC elections seems like a different ball game altogether, especially because the Thackeray brothers have come together. Now you see Sanjay Raut saying that Marathi Manoos ek ho jao, ek hai to safe hai. Do you think NDA could lose the Marathi Manoos vote in this election?
See, two things first, let me tell you. The Ladki Bahin scheme worked mostly in the rural areas. We are talking about BMC and MMR regions. So the women voters, yes, it has been a challenge for almost all the parties to get out women voters, because they don't come out of their homes during BMC elections. That has been a trend for a very long time. And especially the Election Commission did the same goof up that they had done earlier with so many holidays. Last night we saw people in hordes leaving the city. So I am expecting a lower voter turnout. And what you asked me about the Marathi Manoos, let me be very honest, not the entire block of Marathi Manoos has been voting together ever. ऐसा होता तो Uddhav Thackeray would have been winning 140 seats. The Congress and the BJP contested very few seats, 30 seats that maximum they used to win before 2017. But it is never so that the entire Marathi population votes as en bloc to one political party. They have been divided always. There is a caste that, there is a strata difference that has been working. If you see the lower strata, may it be the slums, they have been voting en bloc. And both the brothers coming together might have amalgamated a lot of people, but you also have to understand that many in the MNS are disillusioned the way MNS has been treated in the alliance. If you see most of their leaders, may it be the tallest leader right now in MNS after Raj Thackeray, Sandeep Deshpande, he has been missing from the action. And Uddhav Thackeray has hogged the limelight, which has not gone well with many of the MNS workers. And that is the reason, if you see in their core belt, Varli, there are so many rebels, and as I say, it is he says that it is a presidential style election. Obviously it has to happen that, but right now in 227 wards of Mumbai, I see 227 elections of each candidate against each other. There are so many rebels from most of these parties, and that is going to play a lot of game over here. We cannot say right now which party is going to have the majority or lead, but whatever we have seen, because BJP has had a lead in the assembly election, and also last time they from 30 went to 82. We are expecting that BJP may emerge as the single largest party. Now it is with Shinde and UBT how they play it.
And do you think the Thackeray alliance will continue after this BMC irrespective of the result? Do you?
No, it is not. Because if you see the history of Raj Thackeray, he has never stayed with one person for a very long time. He hasn't stayed with, he stayed with Modi till 2014, then 2019 he went again berserk with someone, then 2024 he came again back with the right-wing BJP. He cannot decide, and as Devendra Fadnavis has rightly pointed out, Raj Thackeray comes out as a confused person. That is the reason I'm saying the alliance may not have a much of an impact, because many voters of his are very confused with his stand that he has been taking for a very long point of time.
And Amitabh ji, this whole talk about Marathi mayor, Hindu mayor, Muslim mayor, do you think these are issues for people, or in your surveys have you seen more civic issues getting more prominence amongst the people?
Civic issues do get prominence, but I think again the issues are different for different sets of voters. For people living in buildings and societies who are perhaps well off, they are not dependent upon the government, and whatever issues have been there for long, many believe that they might still continue to face those issues, whoever comes in power. So I think what we have to see is that a lot of discussion, while it has happened on the basis that the Marathi speakers have declined in the city from around 45-46 to now 36%, still out of 227, in 2017, 150 Marathi corporators won, which means that the Marathi community has dominant influence here. Now, if you look at the seats, there are around 140 Marathi community influence seats, let's say, 40 outsiders, which is North Indian, Gujarati, 30 Muslim, and the balance is mixed. Of this 140, the Shiv Sena 179, which was majority of their 84 seats. The United Shiv Sena won out of this, and the BJP also won 44. Now the BJP, anyways, this 40 outsider seat or the North Indian Gujarati or the non-Marathi is largely going the BJP way. The 30 Muslims again largely split between Congress and the others, which is SP, AMM and NCP. This 140 seats hold the key, because here the BJP would hope that because they have a faction of Sena, or today the original Sena, they should reduce this. So the battle largely is on the 85 seats, which the two or the three Sena factions are fighting. 65 UBT versus Shinde, and I think 17 or other 67 UBT versus Shinde, and 18 MNS versus...
These 85 seats could be the make or break, and also determine which is the real Shinde. The brothers coming together are able to reclaim it.
People in Mumbai still believe that the real Sena is Thackeray. Rest of the Mumbai, it is very clear that Eknath Shinde is the real Sena. But in Mumbai, because Bala Saheb's dominance, his whole life being here and his contribution, there is this romance and this nostalgia. So this round of election will prove that.
On this,
I a bit disagree that in Mumbai, yes, to be very honest, they did win a majority of seats, but they won those seats in the assembly because there was a big fight between the MNS contesting in many of the seats. This time what I believe is that MNS candidates, there are many rebels. For example, I would give you a very strong seat where Aditya Thackeray is the MLA, Varli. In that, there is Varli Koliwada seat from where ex-deputy mayor Hemangi Varlikar is contesting. Over there is a rebel from her own party. And if you move outside that particular Varli Koliwada belt, and the local candidate is from Shinde Sena, again a Varlikar. So, if you move out, there is so much of anti and there are Aditya Thackeray won by a very slender margin, to be very honest, and that clearly shows that had they worked a bit better, had they managed the other parties well, they could have won. And if you see the other adjacent seat, Mahim, where Sada Sarvankar lost, he lost by about 1,600 or 1,400 votes. So these are very thin margins. And in the den that we say South Central Mumbai, except for Sivri, one constituency, I don't see in any of the other constituencies, may it be Mahim, may it be Varli, that UBT is clean sweeping. There would be 2 to 3 corporators from other parties who will be winning in these seats.
Well, very clearly, both our guests and Amitabh ji, they're making a point that 85 to 86 seats where the Thackeray brothers are against the Eknath Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena, or the real Shiv Sena, will actually make or break this election. We'll be back on the other side of the break. It's over to him for now in the studio.